So today I wanted to take you behind the scenes of creating our Valentine's Day transfer sheet collection. I thought it would be fun for you to get to see a little bit about our process and how we create our transfer sheets. So come on, let's go. Let's start with the artwork. So I actually created this artwork a few years ago. I created two different clip art Valentine's Day collections, and I decided that these would be perfect for our Valentine's Day transfer sheets. This collection here is a lo-fi watercolor hearts collection, and these are hand-painted watercolors, and then I scanned the artwork in and digitized it to get these fun, funky textures inside of the already watercolored hearts, and then really turned up the colors so they would be really vibrant and pop. This collection over here, I was going for something a little more traditional with the colors. This one was actually done on Procreate. I just hand drew all of the hearts using some gouache and watercolor brushes within Procreate. I think these two collections work really well for our assets in our transfer sheet collection. So let's take a look in Photoshop to see how we got to our designs. Let's take a look now at some of the individual patterns in the Valentine's Day collection. And so we're going to start with the multicolor hearts. I just got from that clip art collection, I just took the assets that I had, drag and drop them into Photoshop. So we're going to close that. And I just took all of those hearts and made a random scattered pattern within this diamond shape here, and then created a repeat for it. So if I turn on all of these layers here, as you can see, they come together to form a tile. And from this, we had to create a repeat tile. We used this repeat tile to then create the pattern for the transfer sheet. So let's take a look now at another pattern. And this time we're going to look at the love words. So our love words creation file is right here. And again, we have our diamond shape that we fit our words into and then created our repeat. And our repeat tile looks like this. Let me scroll down a little bit here so that you can see. So it fills this area here. And then let's take a look at the red, pink, and coral hearts here. So for this pattern and the next pattern, we used pattern preview within Photoshop to create the pattern. Let me just show you a little bit how that works. So I'm going to select this upper layer here and turn it on. And then we're going to view and pattern preview. Okay, so I'm going to go out a little bit here so you can see a little bit better. And then I'm going to grab this top copy of this pattern and move it. And then you'll see if I put it in just the right place here, we'll have it and there won't be any overlaps. So all of the hearts fit in perfectly like a little puzzle piece and creates that really pretty pattern. And then after this, we just combine these two layers here together. And then once that happens, we will get our repeat tile. So let me turn pattern preview off. And so this is what the end product looks like. Let's take a look at our last pattern here, and that is the pink and purple shell or fan-shaped pattern. So for this pattern, I decided to take different pink and purple hearts and then just kind of line them up and put them in this shell shape. And it actually just made it look like they were bursting into this fan shape. And I just really love it. I think it looks like almost like a bouquet of flowers, but with hearts. So a heart bouquet, and that's in the name as well. I liked it so much. So this one was created using pattern preview also. And so I'll show you that one as well. So we have both of our smart objects turned on here, the 2 layers. So let's go over to View Pattern Preview. And once again, let's zoom out so you can kind of see the pattern here. And then I have this top layer selected. So if I just click, hold, and move this over, you can see how this one is really easy to fit in. They just fit in so perfectly together. So this is our heart fan pattern. Okay, so that's kind of how the design process went for these. And then the next step was to create the transfer sheets. So let's hop over to that file now. This is my transfer sheet test file, and it's 8.5 by 11 inches because that is the size of my transfer paper. This is where I change the size or scale of a pattern, as well as adjust the colors if needed. And here are the final transfer sheet designs. So here we've got our small red and pink hearts, our large red and pink hearts, our small multicolor hearts, the large multicolor hearts, the I love you, and then the pink and purple fan bouquet. These are our final designs, but how did we get here? So first I'm going to turn off these layers so that we can see a blank page. All right. And then I'm going to go up to Layer and New Fill Layer and select Pattern. And it's going to fill this whole page with pattern. I'm going to select our multicolor hearts to start with. And you'll see it brings in the pattern at 100% scale. And this is just way too big for earrings, right? So to figure out what the scale is going to be, I use these cutter shapes that I created. These will help me to be able to see what a pattern will look like on the clay when cutting it out. These have been helpful for me and make determining size so much easier. So let me show you how they work. If I click on the pattern in the fill layer, I'm going to click on this slider, and if you move it, you'll be able to see the pattern change. Here we've got a little bit smaller, but still maybe a little bit too big. I think this is actually the size we used for the large hearts. And here you can see that the hearts fit nicely inside of the shapes. They're not too big and really fill out the shapes nicely. And then I think this is the size that we use for the small hearts. You can see they're in there, but there's, oh, that's way too small. Let's move that up a little bit. Here, they're really teeny tiny, and this could be fun too, but I think we're losing some of those really small hearts. So that's why I think this one went out for the small heart size. I liked these cutter shapes so much that I decided to go ahead and add them as a bonus in the Art File to Clay Transfer course. If you'd like to learn how to make your own transfer sheets like these here, I have the link to the info page for the course in the description. So I like to just look and see what is best, just move the pattern scale up and down to see what it'll look like in the end. And it really gives you a good idea to see what size the pattern should be. So now that I'm happy with this size, I'm just going to turn these cutter shapes off. Next, I'll do a test print and bake. And after baking these, I noticed that the color in the pink and red hearts needed to be adjusted. So let's take a look at those. So this is what they originally look like in the original bake. You can see the red in there, but they look really pink. So what I decided to do was adjust the hue and saturation for these. And I actually decided to do 2 different tests. So this first one on the right, you can see we added some hue and saturation, but then I also added some vibrance to just really bump that up a lot. And then for this other one here on the left, we just increased the hue and saturation. So I did another bake with these and decided that this one on the left was the winner. The reds looked the best in that one. So that's one we went with. One last thing I wanted to talk about is the I love you pattern. With words on transfer sheets, you have to remember to reverse your text. So whenever I'm doing photos for listings or for marketing, I will have the words facing the correct direction so that everyone can see what the words look like, what they say, and can get an idea of the end product. But I put in the listing always that the text will be reversed whenever they receive their transfer sheet. And that's so they're not alarmed and they don't think anything's wrong. But this way, whenever you place the transfer sheet on the clay, it will read the correct direction. And so that's why we reverse the text. And whenever I do my digital files, I make sure to save it with the text reversed so that they can just go ahead and print it out and then it'll be ready for their clay right away. Now that our prints look good, let's take a look at what our final transfer sheets look like. And that's the end of our behind the scenes look. As I mentioned before, if you'd like to learn how to create your own transfer sheets, check out our Art File to Clay Transfer course. The link is in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.